Howdy, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Dirt Info Podcast. Hey, if you could real quick, hit that like and subscribe button down there. As always, we really, really appreciate it. With that, let's go ahead and jump into our first segment. And
It's called Styling and Profile.
thanks, Rick. Carter, I saw you getting ready, so I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I can't remember what shirts I did, and I'm pretty sure I didn't do this one, so we went with it. Hudson O'Neill when he was in the Rocket one.
That looks new to us.
Looks new. Okay, good. I remember where I got it. I got it at Marshalltown two years ago, I think it was when the Flow Night in America series was there. Not this past year, but the last time they were there after, before that, I got it. So I think he won that night too. So
Oh,
good luck, I guess.
you were good luck. Yeah, right on. Well, I think maybe for the first or second time only, I'm gonna do one I'm not actually wearing. But I picked up this little number this weekend. So this is a Devin Fouquet hoodie. And I dig it because now that he's a late model guy, me and like to be different, I got a modified one. So I dig it. So
Vintage.
vintage, yep. Old like me. So, so that was an absolute pleasure to pick up. So I was pretty stoked when I got that. So but yeah, so I got that where I was racing, but I'll talk about that in a minute. I'll have you go first. You went racing or tried, and you had to dodge some
I
weather.
successfully made it to a race both days. One of them only got halfway through, but on Friday, I was gonna go to Beaver Dam, and the weather there did not look good, so I decided to go to Chilton instead for their fall special, and I surprisingly made the right decision. It ended up not raining, or they had a small like 10-minute rain delay, and that was it at Chilton. They got all of it in, and it worked out perfect. Well, Beaver Dam got everything in except for the features, and that's kind of what you go there for. So worked out on my end. Sucked for them, but I'm glad I didn't go there, so I made the right choice. And then Saturday, um, I had to go to Plymouth, and they got. Then it was kind of what happened to Beaver Dam. They got pretty much all the heats in, but two, and then they got rained out. After they had a rain delay earlier in the program, and I thought that was going to be the end of it, and they reworked the track, and they started back up and they flew through the heats in like 45 minutes and like two left. I think it was less than that, honestly. And then they had two left. It was the four-cylinder heats, which was the class I was most excited for, and it rained as they were pulling onto the track. So I didn't even get to see them race. Just one heat race is all I wanted, and it rained right as they came on the track. And and then yeah, they waited a little bit, and then they said, nope, this ain't. We're not racing after this. It was pouring the whole time. When I left, it was still pouring, and they canceled. And I didn't know this until I got home, but I could have, if I wanted to, I could have went down to Beaver Dam, which was like an hour away from Plymouth, because they were also under rain delay. But since it was their last ever race ever, they were like gonna run until like 5 a.m. if they had to. And I got home and they were still running like B mains. I'm like, oh, I could have went there and got half the show, all the features and everything. I didn't even realize they were. I thought they were further into the program. I didn't think it was worth going. But so I kind of wish I headed over there. But that's okay. At least I got home early. Got home by like 9 o'clock, so that was a plus.
There's that. But if you'd have gone, it would just been like you picked up from your last
From
show.
where we
You'd have
left
just
off,
like
pretty
caught a
much.
couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. A couple of heats, some B's, and some features. But yeah. Well, um, I also had to deal with some weather this weekend. I think that was kind of a theme across our area, but I uh I went down to Granite City for the Piston Cup. I Before I jump into that, I do want to give a special shout out to Smileee.Spiess, who's the track photographer at Granite City. She was gracious enough to allow us to use an image of a very historic moment for our thumbnail. And I really just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for allowing us to use that. Like, um, you know, it means a lot to us. I could probably ramble on more, but just genuinely, like, we appreciate any support we get like that. So thank you very much, Emily, for contributing to the show. And then also, guys and gals, please go give her a follow I'll link on our Facebook post of this, but also it's Smileee.Spiess Photography on Facebook. We'll link in the description. Please go give her a follow. She does awesome work, and really let's do our best to support her. She's supporting us, and I know we're small but maybe mighty following, and let's try to support her back. So thanks again, Emily. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So on Friday, I was curious what was going to happen with the event. And then we talked about last week, but I was on Shane Sabraski watch of like, if he's nearby and going to try to get career win 1000, I'd like to try to be there. And he went to Canada on Friday. So I thought we were screwed. I thought there was no hope. And then he won over there too. He won in the super stock to get to career win 999. But anyway, so all of that lined up, and then Granite decided to move their show from Friday, Saturday to Saturday, Sunday. And so everything lined up, and it turned out that Shane was in attendance at Granite City and running 3 classes. And
We had 3 chances to get it when you were there.
Yeah, well, should have had 3 chances while I was there. But yeah, so I went down. It was pretty cool time, honestly. Like, I'll get to the weather in a minute, which played a bit of a factor, but it was a cool vibe. The energy was definitely kind of high. Not a lot of people were talking about it, but everybody kind of knew why everybody was there, sort of thing. And they had $10 admission, so it was like, I mean, if you were anywhere close, it wasn't like prohibitive to get in, you know.
Yeah.
So the stands were definitely more full than I'd seen in a while. The pit walk was super fun. I ran into Tony Jensen. I picked up a hat from him too. Him and I chatted for a minute. I was able to hand off some stickers. So another car that we should be on. I gave him a fistful, and he's like, "You want me to put them all on there?" I was like, "No, some could be backup, some can be for other folks." But I mean, if you want to put like a fistful of stickers on, go for it. No, but it was neat to chat with him, and then I ran into Devin Fouquet in the pits. Him and his significant other Devin. So chatted with both of them for a while. It turns out so. I never thought we would be influencers, but it turns out we are indeed influencers, Carter.
Why is that?
And so, well, I guess that me telling the story about giving Chad crap about trying to get him back in a car reached some people, reached some ears, and he ended up driving the Midwest Mod on Saturday at Granite City. So our pleas worked, and Chad was indeed back in a race car. And after or mid heat, I was pretty convinced we were bad influencers because he got in an incident and it knocked the rear end out, and I was like, "Oh no, this is gonna be pinned on me. What have I done?" It's all my fault. But so yeah, they did end up getting it out for the feature, and I'll get there in a minute. But it was definitely cool to chat with him. And then I ran into the 7K racing team, or the Conchatis, and so Teddy, Josiah, and Jackson, and chatted with them for a minute. And so that was kind of cool. Heard about some of their future plans. Sounds like they're going to be at Granite City quite a bit more next year. So I'll definitely be seeing them. And then, when I very first got there, I saw Shane's late model on a it was on the open trailer. So the picture guy and me went running to get a picture of it. So I'm like, I don't know if I'll get a good one, but this could be a cool shot. So I went and tried to take one. And as I was walking back, a gentleman's like, "Hey, good job with the podcast." So I'm like, "Thanks." And I introduced myself, and turns out his name's Tanner Erickson, and he races a modified. So it was kind of cool to chat with him for a minute. It was nice to get positive words, and it was always nice to meet someone who listens or follows to what we're doing, because we see the numbers. It's not out. We're not sure there's many of them out there. But anyway, so I thought that was cool to chat with him, and then he actually picked up a heat win too. So, and I ended up handing off some stickers. So I think it was good luck. I think so. But anyway, it was definitely a cool vibe. I ran into Kyle and chatted with him a little bit too, Kyle Hall. So it was just all in all a really good like pit walk vibe, and then the racing started, and we were trying to get heats in, and like it sprinkled for a little bit, and then if I'm recalling it, like sprinkled for a little bit and stopped, and then it started just sprinkling again. And it wasn't a hard rain. It was never a hard rain, but it was enough to eventually they tried to like leave the supers out there and run in the rain and everything, and
Did not
it
work.
just it wouldn't it wouldn't stop misting. It just wouldn't stop. So we ended up being under like a 2-hour rain delay, which we did lose a fair bit of people, and I totally understand it. But from the track's perspective, I absolutely respect that they just didn't give up. I mean, the whole time it had to have misted for at least an hour to an hour and a half. The entire time they had push trucks out on there, just trying to run it in, just keep it as good as they could. For as long as they could. And so then it finally stopped. They turned it, they got it running halfway decent, and we went back along the show. And then it was spotty the whole time. So after they got everything worked out, it's like there's this threat of rain still. So they rearranged the show, and before we got even through all the heats, they ended up having the late model feature. Because they're like, we gotta at least try to get one.
I did see I looked at like live timing on my race pass, and like the order of stuff was like really weird. Like when they
Yep.
ran the races, so that would explain why it was like that.
Yep. And so, and then it turns out they also had a midnight curfew as well. So there's just like a lot of factors of like why they switched this whole thing up. So we were getting like heats and then features and then heats and then features. But so they ran the late model feature, and Shane ended up getting up to second/third. There was like 3 cars battling. It was Moss, Shane, and Jeff Provenzino. They were all in traffic battling for the lead. And Shane at one point, like, I don't even remember. It's just kind of like a mashup, but he ended up being in front for like half a lap, and then he ended up going high. And so as this is all like unfolding, it starts to rain again a little bit, like big cold drops, but not a lot. But it's literally, so it's like raining as they're trying to cram this feature in. And so he's in the lead, it's raining, he's up top, and he gets a little high and clips the wall and ends up dropping back to third. And then a few laps later, the tire goes down and he DNFs. So attempt 1 was DNF. And as I was watching, I was like, yeah, that could be partly rain, but I just kind of felt like, and far be it for me to act like this is the greatest racer I've probably ever seen drive a car. But I felt like he was pressing a little bit. Like he felt the energy. Like this might be the only shot I got tonight. There's all these people here, like maybe not, but but yeah. So that didn't work out. And then they ran some more. They ran the Hornet heats, and then they ran a B mod, and then so we were told at 12 o'clock was whatever was on the track could finish. But like we weren't
Couldn't
starting
go
a new
anything
race.
after.
So
Yeah.
Yep. So B mods were out there, and they wrapped up the show right at 11:59, give or take a couple of minutes. And and they rolled the super stock feature on at 11:59, give or take a couple of minutes. And they were like, nope, we're trying again. And so everyone was kind of like up, and like the stands were clearing out as the super stocks are coming out, because everyone's like, they said, they said, but they're like, nope, super stocks, it's 11:59. Get on the track.
That's like when I went to Red Cedar earlier this year, and I think their curfew's 10:30, and at 10:29 they started the late model feature, and they can do the same thing.
Yeah.
They can, once it's started, they can finish it. They just can't run anything after that.
Yep. And so it was definitely 11:59 when they rolled out, and and they got it in, and that was, I mean, those of us who were left were definitely on the edge of our seat. Shane started 5th or 6th, maybe 4th. He definitely wasn't on the front row that much, I know, and he had to work his way to the front, and it wasn't easy to get up there. There at one point there was an incident between him and the eventual winner, Dylan Kromschroeder, Shane, and Dexton Cook all kind of got together, and Dexton Cook got spun around, and they ended up just calling it a racing deal, and everyone got their spot back. And so there was some tension there of like, oh man, all the hitters are up front. It ended up that Dexton, I think, suffered some damage in that incident. So it ended up being Shane hounding Kromschroeder for at least the last 10 laps. And Kromschroeder, to his credit, ran the perfect line where there wasn't a lot of room below him. The track obviously has been through some things throughout the night. The top's not the greatest. And so he just ran where it was going to be really hard to get around him. And Shane was trying. And with 2 or 3 to go, clipped a infield track tire and smoked the nose underneath, and he gave her hell to try to finish, but he ended up eventually DNFing that too. So the 2 attempts we got while I was in attendance were both DNFs, unfortunately. Yeah. So
it could be your fault.
It could be my fault. I mean, it could be my fault, truthfully, because I mean I was there, I was glory hunting.
And then especially what happened the next day when you weren't there.
Yeah, and then when I wasn't there, right? So, yeah, so it was a bummer not to see it, but such is life. You take the gamble. I picked a day that was the day I felt most confident in, and I got it wrong. That's all right, but it was pretty neat. Was able to still, while I would have much rather preferred to been in person, I do have to occasionally be adult and a dad and do stuff around the house. So it wasn't in the cards. But I was able to catch it, and I believe you were able to catch it as well, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
The Sunday night. Yeah. So they ran their makeup features, and Shane had one more chance in the mods, but Blake Adams swept that. Blake Adams, worth a mention because we're getting to something kind of really cool, but Blake Adams, to his part, swept all 4 of his features. So he was in the Midwest mod and the mod, and he won all 4 of them. So it's a pretty solid weekend.
Good points.
It's
weekend,
2K.
too.
Yeah, and it was 2K mods.
Oh, so 4K?
So, yeah, in just the mods alone, yeah. Yeah, so not a bad weekend. But anyway, long story short, bury the lead, why don't we? But on Sunday, we were kind of watching it and chatting together, and Shane did indeed pick up his 1000th win at Granite City in the late model on his very first attempt on Sunday. So I think you're onto something. I think it was my fault. It was me.
Oh.
Oh,
there you are.
Hi, problem. It's me and Taylor Swift. You know what I mean?
You froze
anyway,
for a second, but we got you.
Right on. But so yeah, that was cool to watch. He did on Sunday. He made quick work to the front and he just never really had a doubt. He was in the lead by about lap 5, I think it was, after a little bit of calamity with Dave Moss up front. None of Shane's doing. I think he just broke or something, didn't he? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I know he was leading and he pulled off. I think the pole sitter didn't even show either. So like a lot of things broke his way. It was me. Like the luck was on his side. But yeah, so he claimed it on in the late model on Sunday. I thought that was cool. I thought it was neat that the track something extra special planned for him. It didn't go super smoothly. That damn microphone didn't want to cooperate for anything. But otherwise, I thought it was nice that they had him say some words, and I think Kyle went down and interviewed him. I don't even remember all of it. But they had a neat banner. I thought the banner was pretty badass.
I thought it was Trantina that was interviewing him, wasn't it? Or something? I don't remember.
Yeah, it could have been. I couldn't remember. All I know is like Kyle had to go sprinting down there at one point with an alternate mic or something. I think. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't remember the order of it all, but I thought it was pretty cool that he said some words. James said some words. I did. All in all, I do think it was cool that he went sort of quote unquote home to win it. He races everywhere. He's more or less a professional racer. It feels like during this summer, he races 3 to 5 times a week and 3 to 4 classes, or no, 2 to 3 classes. There's not 4 currently, no. But so it really could have happened anytime, any place. And so for him to be up in Canada on Friday and pick up 999 and still just so no, I need to go home and win it. I thought that was cool. I wish I could have been a part of it. I think we were able to be as much of a part of it as we could otherwise, and it was all pretty neat. And then he went and won 1001 on the night, and he picked up the super stock feature win too. So yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty cool feat. Do you know of anyone else who's won 1,000 races?
I don't think so. What, Billy
I
Moyer has
don't.
like 500 or something? Doesn't he have a lot?
Yeah, would think so. Yeah, and I mean Billy Moyer only races one class,
Yeah,
but I
say
mean
I
so
also
that's
don't know.
impressive in its
I
own
also don't know
way.
many people
Yeah,
that run 3 classes a
yeah,
night, like 4 times a week,
yeah,
which I mean obviously helps. Not
yeah.
discrediting
I
them,
mean
but
it helps
it
a
helps
ton.
a
Yeah,
ton.
it doesn't hurt, but I mean it's to that point. I think it's its own impressive record in a way because it is almost so absurd. Like 1,000 wins is just kind of absurd, and so it it almost would require a guy run a bunch of classes. So that adds that. I mean, his nickname's the Iron Man for Christ's sakes, and it's because he runs, all freaking night long, driving multiple heats, features, different kinds of cars, all kinds of stuff. I think, and it stands to reason, right? But his first win was in a short tracker at Granite City. His 500th was in a B mod at Granite City, and then this 1,000th one was in a late model there. So he's like driven everything, all kinds of
Has
different
he
stuff.
won in a
So
Mod 4 yet? I think he might be missing out on the Mod 4 win.
that might have came too late. He sort of progressed past that
He needs to
stage.
just hop in every Wissota class and get at least one win in them.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
probably only got, well, that's maybe a street stock. I don't know if he's ran that, and then a Mod 4.
Wow.
He might have
Yeah.
ran a street stock. Mod 4 might be the only thing he has to
I'm
win in.
yeah. And I bet if we dug hard enough, he might have one. I don't know if anyone's watching, Kyle, or anyone who might know that. Is there a current Wissota class that Shane doesn't have a victory in? Because if so, that would be kind of the next feat, I think. I think we'd let the topless count. But anyway, just a cool career milestone. Cool that happened at a track that I'm quite fond of, and is close to home and everything. So neat story. But anyway, other than that, I did watch a little bit of racing, um, this past week. The race I watched the most of outside of the one I was at though was that Thursday at Knoxville, and that was kind of an S show.
It
There was
was
a few wild wrecks.
that was the dome on steroids. That's what it seemed like with all the wrecks and crap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, there was Huddy's the one I remember the most, but it almost looked like a sprint car crash into the wall in a way.
Was he
Like just
like,
he's
yeah,
going out like ass over end.
yeah, there was that one, and then was it Carson Ferguson? Was that the other role in the feature? It was one. I think it was Carson
Yeah,
Ferguson that rolled too. I don't know if there was anything else. I
yeah.
remember those two for sure, though.
I think Bruning had a pretty. I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
catch the replay of that,
I
but he
heard
looked.
about the Bruning one, but yeah, I didn't see anything of
Yeah.
that, so I don't know what
The
actually
only
happened.
part I didn't see what happened, but I did see that he looked hard into the wall on the right front. So never awesome either
No,
way at those speeds. So, but yeah, that was kind of crazy. I saw some takes online. I don't know that I had an opinion other than it sucked that they did all of that and then it rained out. I think that was
yeah.
the
Well, they had
part that
most of the feature in, but yeah, they didn't even get the full
they
thing in.
did. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think at one point they were kind of racing the rain and the track was already juiced, and then the Ferguson thing happened, and that was kind of the end of
Yeah,
the race.
all the
But Ellison
crashes
won.
kind of
Yep.
slowed it down, but yeah,
Yeah.
Alverson did win. He wins a lot on half
They got
miles.
enough in to call the win. Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He's pretty good on it. Yep. And so he won. I didn't catch Friday, but I did see Moran won. I think we both caught some part of
I
Saturday's
think I
feature.
caught. I had it on for all of Saturday, but I didn't wasn't locked into it. I remembered Hudson
Yeah.
won. I guess there was a lot of
Yeah.
lead changes. See, I wasn't paying much attention because I don't even remember, but I guess there was like 8 or 9 lead changes. I saw James
You
Essex
s-
post about it.
Yeah, you saying that reminds me there was a fair bit of lead changes. I can't even recall the comers. It was like Moran. I think it was Moran and JD like swap leads like 6 or 7 times themselves over a course of 10 or 12 laps.
I do remember
Um,
Moran was leading when Hudson took the lead. I'm
yeah,
pretty
so I think
That's like the
JD
one thing I
broke
remember.
or had faded. Yeah, I mean, uh, heck of a turnaround for Huddy, upside down in a wall
on
on
Thursday,
opening night, and
winning on
yeah,
Saturday.
yeah. So pretty cool story for him. It was a big paycheck too, 75 grand. So heck of a bounce back for sure. But yeah, it was now that you mentioned the lead changes, it was interesting in that way. And I guess that to me, I'm trying to go, okay, so there were 6 lead changes between 2 guys. Does it matter how many guys were involved in the lead changes, or do you just think 6
Well, it's a
lead or
lead change. They
X
didn't say
amount
they
of
didn't
lead
say they didn't
changes?
say 6 leaders. It was just
No,
lead
I know.
changes. So I'd say that it
I'm just
counts as
asking from from an entertainment standpoint. Do you think it's like 4 guys cutting it up is like, I guess I'm asking, is it all that impressive if just 2 guys keep swapping leads? Is what I'm trying to ask. What do you think?
I mean, it can depend if there's 25 lead changes because the whole entire race are going back and forth. I'd say that's pretty entertaining, depending how they're going.
Yeah, that's
If
pretty
they're throwing
badass.
sliders and
Yeah.
crap, it's still entertaining, not as entertaining if one guy's running the bottom, one's running the top, and they're just like equal, and one guy gets like an inch on him one lap,
Yeah,
and the
it's like
other.
one lap he gets them on the top. Yeah.
It's still entertaining than
Yeah,
a guy
makes
leading
sense.
by 5 seconds all race. But I mean, I
Agreed.
think,
Agreed.
yeah, I don't know. I'd say it was still a pretty solid race for what I saw.
Yeah. And they definitely were cutting it up, right? It wasn't like high line, low line. They were having
Yeah,
to throw sliders and stuff. It was definitely entertaining. I was just kind of going, in a recap kind of way. We've got 2 guys just swapping the lead, but it was good racing. I think is it good racing while they're swapping the lead is
yeah.
the answer to my mystery question there. But yeah. But anyway, it was an interesting feature. And then they had Melbourne there. It was an invite field. I didn't catch any of that, but
I didn't catch that.
I did see Chad Simpson won, so $4,900, not a bad little payday. So, I think he was running with Lucas as well. So
Yep, he ran
one
both.
of a few guys. Yeah, a few guys who ran both. Thornton ran both too.
Yeah, I
Do you
think Murdy
recall?
did too.
Murdy did too. I think Murdy had to go swap engines. I think he hurt his engine on
So I don't think
Friday.
he was there
I did see
Friday
that.
yet. I think he was there
Yep.
Thursday and then wasn't there Friday and then came back Saturday.
And then ran in Melbourne. That makes sense. Yeah. So interesting racing there. I did see that Malvern West is on. I don't remember exactly where they are, so I apologize for that. But I think they have a 3-day swing this weekend as well. So those guys are getting close to wrapping that whole thing up. I think that might be one of their last weekends. The other thing that I think mostly I was just paying attention to, I don't think Carter quite follows this the way I do, but
Nope.
Heartland Modified Tour had a 2-day swing. Friday, Lakeside, Saturday, 81. And on Friday, we had Shadron Turner pick up the win. And on Saturday, Tanner Mullins picked up the win. And then I'd mentioned last week, and I'll probably mention at least one more time in about a month, but I'll mention now. The points battle there is tightening up. We lost a couple players, in my opinion. We're down to 3 now. But we've got Bobby Williams, who's the leader. And then did you know that
He's a rookie.
yeah, he's like a true rookie in a modified. Yeah, I was unsure if I had told you that or not before.
It's a couple
Uh,
times.
just a couple times. Okay. Well, you might have to hear it one more time. But anyway, so he's still leading. I thought it was interesting when I was digging into this. He hasn't won a race. I think that is, if he had picked up even one win with the way their points look to me, I think he'd probably be a little more comfortably, obviously. But it's odd that he's leading and hasn't even won a feature yet. And then in second place, we've got the Cookie Monster, Brandon Givens, and he's only 4 points back. And then Shadron Turner, who picked up the W on Friday, is 25 points back. And so their points, we talked about a little bit,
Yeah,
but based on their points, 25 is not.
25. It's not like 25 spots. It's like
Yeah.
I don't. You can make that up
It's
in a
like a
night easily.
yeah, I think that's where we landed on. You could easily make it up. So yeah, so we'll say those 3 are in contention, and then you'll have to forgive me for just a minute because the nerd in me went a little wild earlier for in preparing for this. But so they've got 2 nights left, and they're at I-35 Speedway. They went there once already, and we had Bobby Williams finish 3rd, and Brandon Givens finished 2nd. So they both, in the one time there, they ran well. And then I was curious if anyone else has like run this track. Is this someone's home track or something? It doesn't appear to be, but I did see that Shadron Turner went there a couple times and he's picked up a win and a second place. So I think my guy was looking at winning a championship and was doing some testing out there and just getting comfortable. So I'm not here to make predictions. Shadron Turner is also technically a rookie with the series. So I think I'll say we're probably gonna have a rookie win this thing. That's what I think. I think we're gonna have a rookie win Heartland Modified. Do you agree with me?
So what? There's two rookies and then Givens,
Two out of
right?
three. Yep, and then
I'm
Givens.
just gonna
Yeah.
say Givens will win, just to be
Okay.
opposite of you.
Perfect. I love it. And we will find out in approximately a month. So, if anyone who watches like most of these episodes will know, we do forget some of these prop bet things that we do. So maybe someone hold us accountable when this comes back up, for sure. But yeah. And then a couple more things to just touch on that I think we both, at least passingly, were keeping an eye on, at least a little bit, was up at Thunder City. They had the Dirt Track Nationals we had mentioned last week. They had that what do they call it? Grand Slam bonus.
Oh, yeah.
Sweep your heat, sweep your features. Nobody won that. I think we had completely. Didn't even like come down to missing like a heat win. I think nobody accumulated 3 out of 4. So it was pretty stout competition down there for sure. But so in the mods, we had Curtis Sty win on Friday, Jody Belfi win on Saturday. I think I said that right. Yeah, I may have misspoke. And then in the super stocks, Shane picked up 3K on Friday up there, the super stock, before heading back home. And then Tim Johnson won on Saturday. And then Midwest mods, Tyler Vernon picked up the win on Friday. And then our girl Ashley Boyum picked up the dub on Saturday. So she's had a
improvement considering she had a terrible luck during 100 weekend. So that is quite the bounce back.
Heck yeah, it really is. So definitely like extra fist bumps to her, because for those that don't know, they had a wreck on the way to the 100 with the toter, and then that was pretty messed up. So they were able to find alternate ways out there, and then I believe Ashley was in an incident.
I thought her brakes went out or something. I remember seeing the post about it on whatever day, whenever they made it there. And then she hopped in someone else's car and then wasn't involved in a wreck on, I think it was Saturday or Friday it was.
And then
so yeah, it was like 3 straight days of just nothing good happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, really, this one feels good for sure, and she definitely earned it, and it's good to see. So I mean, we're on the car, and we're definitely fans, and so it's just good to see that she's. 1, she didn't get her head down, and 2, she kept fighting, and 3, she won. That's like life in a nutshell, man. Bad shit happens, you fight through, and good stuff happens. So, so good for her, man. That's cool to see. And then they had it was a 2-day format for the street stocks, and then Levi Rant picked up that, and that was 1,500. So, kind of a neat show they have up there. If I ever get around to getting a passport, maybe we should go up there. One of these times for something. I do want to check that track out. It's just, it's a hike for both of us. But anyway, moving right along. I do also want to just quickly mention, so they Modified Mafia had a 2-day show out at Bedford, and it's the DJ Troutman Memorial. And so it's 2-day show, 3K, 5K for mods, and Drake Troutman in the Jerry Foster owned 5 swept both nights. Kind of not a surprise if he was racing. I think his home track for his dad's memorial and the best car in the nation. So kind of cool to see he picked up the wins there. And then also worth mentioning, Cole Falloway swept second. So there was a clear.
Oh yeah, I did see. I saw he was out there.
Yeah.
And I just want to mention Red Cedar rained out, because we talked a bit about that last week. They rained out.
Yeah,
so
we did. It's unfortunate. I think there's a couple tracks. I don't know if they were one of them. There were a couple tracks in my area that this past weekend had to unfortunately say that Mother Nature won their opener and their season closer, and that just sucks.
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember if Red Cedar's opener got rained out. I can't remember, but yeah, I remember. I know what post you're talking about. I remember who it was, but I saw that post.
Yeah, that's just like a bummer.
Yeah,
It just stinks. Raining out stinks all the time, but if you don't even get to like open the season with a bang or close it with a bang, it just feels kind of like like
closing
we
it I
didn't
feel
get
like is
any of the.
worse. Opener, it's
Yeah,
like it's always spring, weather's always kind of iffy, but closing it, it's like at least let us finish out the year one last time.
finishing out the season. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, that first race, whenever it gets in, has some of those first race vibes. I feel that, but yeah, that the last one,
Yeah, that's
like
always
it,
the
if
worst.
I get if I get rained out at Topless, which is like my last race, I'm gonna be pissed. I'll tell you that, right? So like I feel it for sure. Yeah. But anywho, so with that, we can kind of shift our focus to looking ahead, and your plans have kind of morphed and changed a little bit.
Yeah, quite a
Um,
lot.
quite a lot, but we have like an interesting intersection of our plans. We're going to be like at the same place, but not at the same
Not at the same
time.
time.
So I'll start with where I'm going, and then we'll have you follow, I think. But I'm gonna be after pontificating last week about where I might be going, at final decision, I'll be going to the Fall Jamboree on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that. I think I'm not gonna belabor it much. Somewhat close point battle. Rodney's leading. Tanner will be there. Jim will be there. Should be a solid field of cars. I'm hoping we see a bit of a bounce back for their car counts. They're definitely making you wonder with adding a few more classes. What they got, hobbies on a day or two and stock
Hobbies on
cars on a day or two
Thursday,
as well.
and then stock cars Friday, and then they come together Saturday.
Saturday, in addition to the typical mods and B mods.
Yep.
Um, yeah. So hopeful we get some cars. We'll probably have a lot of cars just because we have got a few more classes, but I'm hoping the mod car counts up. I'm also looking forward to maybe catching up with our buddy Brad, maybe catching up with our buddy Connor. I think Ryan should be there. He's the only one of kind of like our little group that we talk about who's like has no chance of being there. So if peer pressure works, Ryan, and you hear this before Saturday, come join us.
I
But
think it'll be at 141. I wouldn't blame them for going to 141 either. They'll get probably 300 cars there. So
uh, I don't doubt it. And that would be definitely a quicker drive for
yeah,
sure. And probably more cars.
yeah, it would
So,
be a 30-minute
yeah.
drive versus 5-ish hours.
Yeah. For potentially double ish. Huh. But anyway, so that's where I'm going to be on Saturday. You tell us what your weekend plans are and also
So
maybe what they might have been.
so Thursday I'm going to 141. That was the one thing that never changed because they got the late models and then the asphalt late models on dirt, which we talked about a few weeks ago. Still don't know how many are confirmed for that, so hopefully we get enough for a race. And then
I
oh, go
think we're going
ahead.
to have enough for a race.
I think
I've
so.
just there's been some chatter in one of our TikTok comments, and I think I've seen at least maybe 3 people semi mention that we're going to be there. So anyway, I could be
Well,
wrong,
that's
but I
that's enough
I
for a
think that's
race.
enough for a race. Exactly.
And then yeah, they have the dirt late models, which are topless. I forgot to mention they're actually topless at Plymouth this past weekend. So it was I wanted to mention this. It's a memorial race for a guy, and he always liked topless late models. So they give like a decent amount of money to like the highest finishing topless guy. And now 141s. I think since they're already all topless from last week, might as well just save them the trouble of putting the roof on. And for most of the late model guys in this area, this would be their last race of the year anyways. So might as well just run one more week, and I think it's some extra money for them going topless. So that's kind of cool. But then Friday, I was supposed to go to ABC for the red clay this weekend, but plans changed. That's the one thing with working in racing is sometimes you don't get to pick where you're going. And I got asked if I can do Arlington, and I agreed. Wasn't thrilled about it at the time, but uh, just because especially this year, out of all the years not to go to the red clay, this would be the worst one not to go. But
50th anniversary.
yeah,
Yeah.
but so yeah, I'll be at Arlington Saturday in Minnesota, but Friday I will be at Deer Creek now, just because why not? Going to Minnesota, might as well check another track off the list. So be at Deer Creek Friday, and they added stock cars, so that's a plus to me. And So yeah, I'm glad. I was actually supposed to go there during the 100, Wissota 100, but then I asked to go there to the 100 instead of Deer Creek. So now I guess I could makes up for that, I guess. So I'll check out Deer Creek Friday, and then Arlington Raceway on
Oh,
Saturday. Oh, go ahead.
is that your first time at Deer Creek?
Hmm.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
realize that.
part of the reason. Yeah, I was like, oh, all right, that ain't too bad. And I'm just going there as a fan, so that'll be another new track at
Awesome.
least.
Awesome. Well, you'll dig it. I think you'll enjoy it. I know that what I look for in a racetrack is maybe not the same thing that you look for
It's
in a
probably a
racetrack.
good thing I'm going
Well,
Friday and not Saturday, because Saturday will be all
yeah,
the extra stuff probably.
a little bit extra stuff, yeah, for sure. But no, I'm actually super excited to hear your feedback on this, for sure. You gotta, like, try some food and maybe,
Oh yeah, I'll probably eat
take a
some,
walk
depending what they
around.
got.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get a
yeah.
pit pass or nothing, but
No, I
I like
understand
to look
that
around
for
at
sure.
the facility. Especially some facilities are like cool because they have like history stuff, like all of our track champions. I don't know if they have that or not, but I remember Wilmot had that. That was kind of cool. Asphalt tracks are really good at that, at having stuff to look at throughout the facility. I don't know if they got any of that, but I guess I'll find out when I go there Friday. And then Saturday I'll be at Arlington, like I said, and it's their final points night, and I guess I found out today it's also 4,500 to win for IMCA sprint cars. So I guess that's kind of cool. It made me not like hate going there as much. Not that everything is Arlington, it's just what I was supposed to be at. I was like,
You're
oh,
right,
at
the
least they have,
alternative.
at least there's something going on. It's not just like a weekly show. Um,
Mhm.
so that's a plus. And then they have IMCA hobby stocks, which I love. So that's also a slight plus. And that is
Slight bonus, yeah. No,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say no hobby stocks at the red clay, so,
No
like,
hobby stock, not even street stocks at the red clay.
not even street stocks, no.
So,
No.
but yeah,
So
it'll be interesting. At least it's a new track. It might actually be two tracks at Arlington. Apparently, they have some like autocross thing, like infield track with like jumps or something, and that would technically count as a new track. So, I mean, I'll take it if it's there.
might be might be a three-track weekend.
Exactly, three-track weekend at two tracks. So, yeah, I'm not gonna. I'll take it, I guess. But would have liked to have picked that up maybe a different weekend, but we'll survive.
You
We'll
might
move
end up
on.
as race chaser of the week again.
Yeah, that is true. I had enough of that last 2 weeks ago. So, and then I'm gonna super truck it home after because the Vikings play at 8:30 in the morning, and I want to be home for that. So,
Right on. Yeah, your dog is super pumped about
yeah,
the possibility
dog.
of you being race chaser again.
I don't even know what it's barking at. So,
Anyway, so we mentioned it. I think you'll be hate watching what happens at the red clay. I'll be more watching out of genuine curiosity. But so since we mentioned a little bit, it is the Red Clay Classic at the ABC Raceway, 50th anniversary, and they've got some pretty big purses up. So late models are so everything's a 2-day format, right? If I recall, I'm
it's
I'm almost
Heats
100% sure.
Friday, features
Heats
B
Friday
main
and then
Saturday.
and
Yeah,
heat. Yep, yep, yep. So the Wissota 2-day format where you get one heat race on your Friday and then we go from there. But so they've got late models for 15,000, mods for 10K, super stocks for 7,000, and Midwest mods for 3,000. So it's pretty beefy
yeah.
purses for all of them for sure. And it struck me. I could have swore for some reason I randomly knew that the mods had a back-to-back winners, so I double checked. Turns out they did. Clayton Wagaman has won the last two of these things, so I suspect he'll probably be there, and he might be a bit of a favorite in the mods. So it'll be interesting to see what we get for a field. I know it. I've heard much like I heard about the sites. I've heard the people over on the other side of Wissota say this is the race weekend of the year. So I know it's a cool race event out there. Environment's awesome. I need to check it out. I think it's a bummer that you won't
I
be able to
know
check it out.
a few guys from my area go up there too. Amphilink usually goes up there. I'm pretty sure he posted that'll be up there. I think he's gonna run
Nice.
141 Thursday and then head up there. So yeah,
Okay.
usually a couple guys from my area go. And I want to mention, assuming my race pass is accurate, which I assume it is, they do something weird, or not, it's kind of weird on Friday. So when they run the heats, instead of doing like, okay, Midwest mod heats, all 18 of those, and then super stock heats, they do it where it's Midwest Mod Heat 1, and then I don't know what the running order is, but then Super Stock Heat 1, late Model Heat 1, Mod Heat 1, and then Midwest Mod Heat 2, Super Stock Heat 2. So it's you're always rotating divisions instead of seeing like 45 Midwest Mod Heats in a row, and you're like, Jesus Christ, we still got 14 more after this.
Yes.
So if assuming my race pass is accurate, I really like that idea. I think it'd be a mess for
Yeah.
lineups for some of the guys, but I mean, if they're used to it, it's probably fine. But yeah, I really like that idea because sometimes, like even like at this 141 show, their fall special. In the past, I'm like, oh my God, we still have four more sport mod heats, and we just had 14 cautions in the first two. And it's like I just want to wrap them up. At least then you get a little break from them for a few
Yeah.
minutes, and then the next one comes out.
Yeah. I was having a thought of, well, we talked about earlier, Shane runs 3 of those classes. Shane Sabraski runs 3 of those classes. Imagine if it shakes out in such a way that you're
Back to
just
back
like
to
back
back.
to back to back. I think at that point, that's when you'd go up to the racetrack and be like, I'm going to slow us down. Can we?
The features are probably going to be like that for them,
Oh
I
yeah. Well,
assume.
that's every feature
Yeah,
for him.
that's true.
I've seen him. I think it was Dirt Race Central, but I think Carter was the man behind the camera on that one. The other Carter had posted one of like, what do you do when you win your 1,000th? And it's like get into your super stock and to go again or whatever it was. He's jumping in. So he's just like kind of just keep on going.
Don't know
But yeah,
how they do it by you guys, but by us, like all the guys that run stock cars and mods, it's always stock cars and then mods are after. So all like the mod guys will just park their mods in the infield, and then as soon as the stock car race is done, they'll park down there, and you just see them all scrambling to get to get
yeah.
into the mod and pull off. It's a race half the time. It's like who's gonna get done first?
They have like their own side pool of like do it the quickest. Everyone throws in 10 on a race night, winner keeps it all. I don't know. But yeah, they do that a fair bit. Admittedly, there's not as many guys that run multiple classes as you think, but generally the guys that do that. So yeah. It's not uncommon to see Shane go from victory lane into another car
Yeah,
and drive back on another car. So, yeah, it definitely happens. But so that's a cool show. It'll be interesting to see. We're gonna have to double check on that heat thing though. I
yeah,
want
because
to
I remember looking
confirm.
at live timing from last year, and that's how it was. So we'll see if
Okay.
it's. I don't know how it works when there's an uneven amount of heats. Like if there's four super stocks and six Midwest mods, do they just screw it? I guess the last two Midwest mods are at the end of the night and they're back
Yeah.
to back, or I don't know. But
Yeah, I think that's probably how you do it, or you shake it up somehow to split them up a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to check it out. Or you just have it so tightly organized that you just nail roughly the same amount of beats for everyone. That's promoting 101. Have 6 of everyone. but but yeah, other than that, I think there is some other interesting racing going on that I know that you've mentioned a couple times. You've been excited for a show that happens this weekend. So I'll bury the lead again. We'll get there in a second. But some other things I'm keeping an eye on, and I think you are too, is we've got Lucas Oil is at Brownstown for 2 nights for 10,000 and 50,000. They're going. And then we've got the Mars Modifieds at Tri-City for 3 nights. So I think we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And that is 2K, 3K, 5K
yep,
each night. I
Mod
think that
Mania.
Mod Mania, yep. That was supposed to be a World of Outlaws
Yeah,
show
Outlaws were supposed to
too.
be
Yeah.
part of it. But yeah, there was something with just a lot of rainouts there, and just not financially makes sense to have them there was what they said. So they just dropped them, which it is a big purse compared to 20. I think it was 25K to win for that Outlaw show
Yeah.
originally. So they dropped those, but it's yeah, still mods. And then they have late models for 2 of the nights. I know Crown Vics are there, I think Thursday, and then B mods are there a few of the nights too. So
Salvaging something out of it.
yeah,
I imagine so bringing all that up because the lead we've buried is that the Coles County Road to the Dome show is this upcoming Sunday.
yep, right
And
after.
yeah, and they had it schedule just about damn near perfect
Which-
with with all the Outlaws on one side
Yeah,
and
it's
Lucas on the other, and the
because
Mars Modifieds nearby, and
yeah, Coles County's like on in eastern Illinois. So Outlaws are in western Illinois, so it's not too far. And then Lucas is in Indiana, which is obviously east of Illinois. So they were like pretty much right
yep,
in the middle. It was perfect. Then all the most of the mods are going to be at Tri-City, so they're all close
yep,
by. Yeah, it's still scheduled pretty good because I assume a lot of the Outlaw guys will end up at Brownstown, but there might have been some that are like, oh, we'll just stay home now this weekend and not instead of
yeah,
going to just Coles County. But yeah, we don't really know who's going there. We know guys that plan on going there, but it's not confirmed. I think RTJ, Shepherd, Carpenter,
Shepherd,
Turbo, I
Carpenter,
think,
yeah,
was in
that
there.
Turbo, yeah, and then I think Fergie's a maybe or potential Super Shep. I think I saw as well. So,
Yeah,
what? It's an invite only thing, so feels like we should maybe know more than we do right around now. But um, that's what we kind of know. I think when invited, I saw Chase Holland said yes, and then I think there was one other
Fager
modif
said yes.
Okay, Fager did.
Ray Bollinger said he's going.
There we go. So that's what we know off the top of our head. I mean, we may from when we're recording this to when this happens is a fair bit away. So we may find out. We may
Yeah,
get
they
more
might
clarity
post it
between. Yeah, yeah,
from now. But yeah, 2,000 to
yeah,
win mods and 10,000 to win late models for that as well.
yep, yep. And it's on flow, and it's would you say 1/8 mile
One
track?
eighth
What's
is
the
what
size of that thing?
I believe
One
is one
eighth.
eighth is what they said. I've been there. It's small. I can confirm that.
Yeah, you were earlier this year.
In April, yep.
Um, yep, yeah. So I guess they've done a ton of work since you were
They
there.
added a ton
From
of
what?
like bleachers and stuff I saw. Yeah,
Yeah,
there was like very little seating when I was last there, and now it looks like there's a ton of seating for the
yeah.
place. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I do. So it should be a cool show. I'm definitely gonna do my best to catch as much or all of it as I can.
oh yeah,
Um,
I am
I
very excited to watch this on Flow. This is the most excited I've been to watch on Flow for a while. Not that there's bad
yeah,
races, but there's just some where I just don't
right.
get as excited for stuff on streaming versus being there. And this one I'm excited to watch on streaming.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 1/8 mile late models is the dome inside. So this is like
Outside, dome outside.
Yeah, I mean, but the dome is inside, right? So
Oh
I'm
yeah,
I'm going we'd have never even seen this happen outside, which maybe it makes a difference, maybe it doesn't, but like it feels different to me. I'm not gonna lie. It feels a little different to me. Like a little more risky maybe or something. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. It could stand to be really, really cool. I do so one thing I wanna mention is when this was all sort of announced a couple months back, I had brought up that I like the idea that we we're making more of the dome, right? So
hmm
this is now we've got at least one road to the dome show. Maybe next year we pick up another one. Who knows? But I like that we're building off it. We're making something out of this event that really is something big in dirt racing. And so I whatever the connections are, the Gateway Dirt Nationals are playing it up because they released their first modified list this past week too. So I like the synergy. I think that's the word I'm looking for that they taught me in business school. Synergy. But I dig it. It was the first mods. I know that there's been some other announcements on the late model side, but they did do their
yeah.
first actual like list
Late models that have been announced haven't been from the Gateway account. It's just been drivers posting it, so
Yep.
you kind of got to go search it for them. But yeah, this is the
Yep.
first list from the Gateway Dirt Nationals was posted, and it's for the most part it's all past winners. I think every past winner except for RTJ was on the list. So sorry, RTJ, not making the cut
Yep.
this year. No, I don't know what the reason is for
Get
that.
better.
But yeah, it was all the past winners, and then Tim Ward and Tyler Wolf, I believe, were the other two.
Yep.
And Tim
Yep.
Ward,
And
I assume, because he won Super Nationals. Tyler Wolf, don't really know. He was last year's national champion for USRA.
yep.
That's our best guess.
Yep. That's what I'm going off of. And they heard me say that the USMTS is just more fun when he's around. I think that is also right. So like we've got at least we know we're influencers now. So now we just gotta take credit for everything we've said that's come true, whether we or not we've had any pairing on. No, but I think it's probably because he was the USRA champion. And then so the also I thought interestingly enough, Tim Ward makes it, and then he's like, "I need a car now." So, I mean, understandably so. I don't know that I would want to, whether he has his IMCA car or not. I probably wouldn't want to run it there. So, um, fair to assume he's probably looking to pick up a ride. Who knows? Between now and then, we'll find out. But I
Yeah,
suspect,
I'm sure he'll find a ride.
yeah, I suspect he'll find a ride for sure. So, um, right on. So that's the more or less what I was trying to build up with all that other stuff. There is one other thing I'm keeping an eye on, and we can just make it brief on this one. But so the Mid America IMCA Stock Car Championship is this weekend. You ever heard of this thing?
I have, yes, at Batesville Motor
Yeah,
Speedway, 20,000 to
yeah.
win.
It's 20,000. Yeah, you know anything about past winners or anything about this
I
race?
know Benji Lacrosse won it in 2021 when it was 50,000 to win. He won't be there this year. He'll be at
You won't
141,
what?
but
Yeah,
he did win it. He
no.
did win it 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And 50K is beefy. No, I wanted to pull that out of you because you mentioned it when I brought it up the first time. Anyway, so this iteration we've got 20,000 to win, and I think it's interesting that they've got one no practice, which at least one person found outrageous, but they've got no practice. But in addition to that, they have their format has switched up a little bit. So it's double heats and a feature on Thursday, double heats, feature Friday. All of that's passing points. Passing points in the feature, passing points whole way down. And then that sets you up for a qualifying feature on Saturday to then lock into the
Main feature.
the main feature. Yeah. I didn't see if there was any B features on top of that. Honestly, when I looked at the flyer, it just said qualifying features and main features. So there may not even be a B, but
The
probably is.
qualifying feature might be a B feature too. I don't know.
Could be.
Does guys get locked in after Friday?
I couldn't tell. I tried. I tried to figure it out the best I could. I couldn't come down with much on that. I most I've seen about it is just from Peyton Taylor's like Facebook account. So like
Oh,
there's only so much detail in the
I
flyer
can
and
I
stuff.
can
But
tell you who won it last year.
who
It
won
was
last year?
Zane DeVilbiss won it last year.
Okay. Is that because he's on the poster for this year, or you
Oh,
just
no,
know
I
he won?
didn't even realize he was on the poster. I looked it up when you were talking.
Yeah, he's on the
I've seen the
poster.
poster. I just never looked hard enough to see who was on the poster.
Right on. So, but that's kind of a neat event. So it's something that's like one of those MRPing. It's almost like we should break it down to like what might you watch on TV and what are you MRPing in? Because there's like a whole list of like different things I MRP. You know, can't watch it all, can't be at it all, but I'm genuinely curious and I want to know like
Yeah,
when it
that's
happens.
a Saturday at 2 a.m. It's like when I'm just clicking on random tracks in MRP, it's like, oh yeah, Batesville is running. Who won this? Oh, interesting. That's a like a I don't know what the word is. I do that every Saturday though. At like midnight, I'm like,
Oh,
oh, let me click on all these random tracks that have some tiny amount of interest in and see who won a certain race.
yeah. And sometimes it's in one ear, out the other, but at that
Oh, yeah.
moment, you cared enough to want to go look. You know what I mean? Like, I cared enough to go look. I've been laying in bed next to Sherry and reached over, got my phone, and she's like, "What are you doing? Return to go to bed?" I'm like, "I need to know." Like, it's bugging me.
Just like crossed your mind for a second. It's like, oh yeah, who won this race?
I can't shake it. Like, I've thought about it for 10 full seconds now, and I figured it's just quicker at this point for me to look it up than keep
And
wondering.
the next morning, you're not going to think about it again until it comes across your Facebook. So might as well look now.
100%. But when it's on my Facebook, then it's not a surprise. And I'm like, oh yeah, I knew that. Just keep on moving. See, it speeds up your scrolling. Anyway. But right on. That is all we had to plan to talk about. So that means, Carter, it's time for
The one for the road, and mine is the oh, I forgot to write the name of it. It's 10,260.
Survive the
There it
55.
is. 10,260 to win at Skagit for IMCA mods. And I tried to find the format, couldn't find much. I know it's at Friday, Saturday, so I'm guessing Friday's some qualifying type of
Heats,
stuff.
yeah.
Heats, just heats.
Heats.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
just
then
heats.
I looked at last year's winner, and it was Tom Berry Jr. who won last year. I don't know if he's going this year, but he won last year. Strickler was second last year.
Yeah, I was
Um,
gonna say.
I don't think either of them will be there. Maybe Tom Berry. I don't think Strickler's going though. Um, but yeah, it's 10,000 to win mods in Washington. I think we had another 10,000. Was it Southern Oregon or something? We had one in Oregon,
That was it.
and
Yep, that
there's
was a Southern Oregon. Yep.
not many races for mods out there that are 10,000 to win. Um, so definitely going to keep my eye on it. They'll probably get hopefully 50-ish mods. I don't remember what they had last year. They had a solid field. I know that last
He
year,
did have
but
a solid field. And I know that both Tom Berry and Kyle Strickler drove like someone else's car. So I don't know. I mean, given where it's at, who's involved, all kinds of stuff, I wouldn't be surprised to see a name or two that you're just kind of like, what? Show up out
well,
there. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Ethan Broxma showed up to that other one and won there, so I wouldn't be surprised if
Yeah,
he shows up
exactly.
again. They had
Yeah.
47 last year, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, so hopefully shooting for 50. I mean, survive the 55. Let's get 55, guys. Come on. It's called Survive the 55. Get 55 of them there. then the name's perfectly on the nose.
Do they run? I wonder if surely they run 55 laps,
They
right?
must
They got
run.
to.
They must run
They do,
55
yes.
laps.
So it's literally, so if you survive the 55, it's you win. Well, I guess you don't win because I guess multiple people could survive, but
I mean, hopefully everyone,
yeah,
if
well, yeah.
we're being
I mean the cars survive, not. I hope the people survive, but
I was just, I had to be so. Anyway, yeah, hopefully both the cars. Smart. I gave in to the impulsive thoughts there. Sorry, Carter. Anyway, well, so for my one for the road, I saw this past weekend, and it definitely piqued my interest, especially because we used to have a running gag about the RIP MLRA. We had at one point there's a stretch of I think at least 10 to 12 episodes where we managed to say it every time. But so all of that is to say the Heartland Modified Tour and that group, that promotional group, has announced that they now are going to be running next year the Heartland Late Model Tour. And so a couple things that piqued my interest. One is given the footprint of Heartland Modified Tour of that Missouri, Kansas, that does kind of line up with some of the area that MLRA did cover and hasn't really seen a player
they had
jump
some. There
up
was
yet.
aside from some comp cam shows that kind of filled some of them. It's yeah, that area kind of got left out because yeah, there was a lot of Missouri for MLRA.
Yep. Yep. So that area definitely is in need, I think, of this. So on the face alone, that's kind of interesting, and I could see them having some early success just with some of the teams that are probably still around there, because I do see some of those teams pop up at a race here or there, right? So I imagine they're racing on some capacity and may have a desire to have a tour again. So that I think is cool in and of itself. I also like that this group has, I believe they have the arms for on the modified tour. So the American Racer Series, which is like down south, they've got the Northern Lights modified series, which is up this way, and then they've got the Heartland, and now they've got these late models. And I'm kind of like giddy that might mean in a little bit we could see maybe this pop up a little bit more in our general area, or maybe like
Like a
southern
Northern Lights
Minnesota.
late model tour.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
I feel like you're in a strange spot there though with like SLMR and stuff all right there because
I
they
agree.
go there.
I agree. The one thing that would set them slightly apart, I think, is just that it and I don't know enough to know for sure, but they present it as it looked like it's supers. And there's not supers. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
not SLMR. I know it's super late model racing, but they're
There's
not
also
super
not
supers.
supers in that area, so would it
Agreed.
work?
there's a chicken and an egg situation. I understand, but uh, at least over in the Wissota world, the last 3 to 5 years, the late models have sort of risen from the dead a little bit. They weren't the premier class, and they definitely are the premier class now. So, I don't know. You read tea leaves, you get it. If you get enough at one spot, then you got to open up another level, right? So, long-term thinking is all I'm saying. I know it seems far-fetched and it wouldn't work this year, but you keep planting seeds.
The one
You know?
thing with that late model tour now too is they can do the Mars and Northern All-Stars thing of late models, mods, and support class for like a
Yeah,
majority of your shows. I assume
yeah.
they'll
And
probably do that. I doubt they'll have them in two separate areas, especially because it's run by the same guy. It would be, I mean, you have like workers and stuff, but I assume he'd like to be at most, if not all of his shows and not be split between the two.
yeah. Yeah, I would imagine so. And I think it gives you maybe I I I'm a, I might be the odd guy here, but like mods really are my favorite class. So when they're top billing, like that's a show I'm interested in. But I can appreciate that Supers might be an easier sell to the average fan,
Probably.
So there's some of that too, right? Like now you're bringing like Premier mods and Supers as a package deal. Um, I did want to touch back a little bit about that like Northern Lights version of this. I don't know that they're gonna have the stomach to have the branch offs like that. I just think it might be that, and then they they try to use their track affiliations to maybe just spread out what is Heartland Late Model Tour to maybe include a date somewhere. Like it didn't don't think it's not lost on me that like Deer Creek and the Gopher 50 used to be way cooler to me, at least when it was Lucas and it was also an MLRA show and we had 50 cars and it was like super awesome. And now like it's woo and that's all well and good, but car count is down a little bit. And now you start to think this is like some ways you get what I'm saying? You can see how
Yeah.
it branches out. All of a sudden they're co-sanctioning and that show gets better. And
If
the
if they do turn into straight up MLRA, then eventually they would probably expand into like Iowa, maybe Deer Creek. Because like MLRA was Missouri, Iowa, obviously the Deer Creek stuff. It was a lot of Missouri, but they had trips out to like Iowa and stuff. So if their goal is to kind of just be like MLRA, like not copy them, but like
I
similar.
can't imagine that that's their goal, right? I want to be, but I get what you're saying. At least fill some of the holes that are left
Yeah,
from them. Yeah,
but
yeah,
also like
yeah.
those Iowa dates that MLRA had are now taken by Mars. So I don't know,
Right.
like Iowa might be out of the question unless they go
Yeah.
somewhere else in
So,
Iowa.
and that's where that whole idea of they've got relationships like past Iowa, right? Like they've got relationships with MTS and Deer Creek. They ran a show at Deer Creek, right? So like I don't want to be like drawing the one-to-one parallel, but I can see how like they're not being an MLRA makes this make sense for them here, and then I can see paths to it growing quickly, because like we didn't mention it, so like just I guess getting off on a bit of a tangent, but like that's not dissimilar to what Hunt the Front did. They started kind of close to themselves, filled what they thought was a need, and then they've slowly branched out. They've
Yeah.
got their season-ending race coming up here, so they're going to be crowning a champion, and they're running for 8 and 12K. So like you could see how they might have looked at what Hunt the Front's doing. Also relatively related, Hunt the Front has their own streaming service, and this Heartland promotion is going to be tied to Racing Dirt, so there's some similarities there too. So you can see how they're maybe learning from over here a little bit, seeing needs from over here a little bit, and then like projecting a year or two out and going, we've got some good relationships with some good tracks, with some good events, and maybe we can branch out in ways that make sense for us. So I don't know. I'm just literally throwing darts and sharing my thought, but when it popped up, this is how my brain works. Like and so I wanted to talk about it. Thank you for entertaining my random thoughts. But I thought it was cool, and I think it's a net benefit for super late model racing, definitely at least in that region, potentially for me down the road. and I'll be watching and seeing what happens because I think it's a great idea, and I'll leave it at that. I've talked enough. But anyway, anything else, Carter? Or did we fill her out?
I think we filled her out.
All right.
I don't
If
got nothing
everyone's
else.
here, if everyone's here, anyone who's still here, what should they do?
Like, comment, subscribe, share,
Right.
all that.
Tell your grandma. Yeah. I got absolutely murked by Colton in fantasy this week. Did you win this week?
No, I did
No.
not. I won 1 week
Okay.
thanks to Quentin Johnson against Colton last
Yeah.
week. But no, I am losing by 20 points right now with
Oof.
no chance to come back. So, not great.
Same. Same. I think I do have a Jameer Gibbs touchdown to go taunt him with though after this, so I'm gonna go do that. I don't care if I'm losing. I'm gonna taunt my scores for
He
I'm
has
gonna
two
go down
touchdowns now,
bragging.
so
Oh, I got two. All right, we gotta end this. I gotta go taunt my son. All right, with that, thank you everyone. We'll catch you next week. Thanks for hanging out with us. And yeah,
goodbye.
bye.